Today's webisode is brought to you by Victoria Michael Public Relations. Victoria Michael Public Relations is a full-service boutique public relations firm that addresses the needs of a wide range of clients, keeping you in constant contact with the community and the media. www.vmpublicrelations.com.
Hello, I'm Kate.
I'm Ebong.
And I'm Pamela.
Welcome back to the District Dish. Today we're dishing with you from Nathan's, celebrating their 40th anniversary, which is on the corner of Wisconsin and M Street Northwest in Georgetown.
Right in the heart of Georgetown. And today we are so honored and so pleased to have one of Washington's staple people in the media, the owner of Nathan's, as well as so many other things that we'll get into for sure. But Carol Joynt is with us today.
Hello
so
there.
Welcome.
Hello.
We're hitting the big time with Carol.
And you are actually, the tables are turned now, because you interview everybody, every famous, amazing person during the weekly or the bi-monthly Q&A cafes. We get to interview you.
Well, let's hope I'm up to it.
You will be up to it. You got your Cosmo, you got the chips.
Yeah.
Got
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good to have you. I haven't seen you guys take a sip.
I have a question that I've always wanted to ask you. Because I've been to many of your Q&A cafes, and I'm always
you're very good patron.
Because you do such an amazing job, not only attracting these fascinating people, but also in your thoroughness of interview. And people have always said that. I mean, the patrons and folks who have even attended one or two have always said that. So my question is, how would you describe your interview style? Because everybody has a little bit of a different type of way in which they interview.
I think what I hope for is that it's a conversation between two people rather than a pointed interview.
Right.
We are, after all, sitting on a couple of bar stools in a bar.
Right.
But I do lots of research. So it's sort of fixed.
Yeah.
So it's not a conversation where I know nothing,
it's totally
but
off the cuff, right?
I immerse myself for the week leading up to the taping.
Wow.
Just studying and studying and studying so that when we start, because it goes 45 minutes, that I can just set my notes down and ask them lots of questions, you know, and feel that I might be able to take them places, especially the people who get interviewed all the time, to try to get them to let down a little bit, remove a few veils, and get to know them a little better.
Right.
You know, I remember when Tom Brokaw did it, and I think, and Tom's an example of somebody who's usually
These are
speaking.
some of the people that she gets to interview.
Who is usually speaking in a big room, like a big hotel room with lots of people, where he can't even see them beyond the lights. And the thing he said about being interviewed here was that he loved it because he could see everybody's face, and it felt so intimate. But you feel that too as the guest, right?
Absolutely.
And you can meet the person, you know, you can talk to them before and after. So
it's very intimate.
So
and
long answer, but that's what I try
Very
for.
humane. Human element to it.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the YouTube video of, I think, Joaquin Phoenix being interviewed by David Letterman?
I saw it that night.
Oh, you did?
Yes, in fact, I remember screaming down the hall to my son, "You've got to come see this."
Has anyone ever done that to you? Just kind of like...
No, I've been really lucky, you know, knock on wood. But I did have one person, though, who wasn't quite Joaquin Phoenix, but Patricia Dodd, who was famous for being married to Ron Perlman in New York, and she's a political lobbyist and activist. But she got very deeply involved in family law. But she really was in the tabloids all the time for a very contentious divorce with Ron Perlman. So she agrees to come down from New York to do an interview, so I'm assuming she obviously is prepared to talk. We're 10 minutes into the interview and she doesn't want to answer any more questions, you know, and I've still got 40 minutes to go. And I'm like, well, let's talk about, I said, you know, you had a pretty intense divorce. Well, I don't want to talk about that. And, you know, it was like, it wasn't, as I said, it wasn't quite Joaquin Phoenix, but it was like, I don't know where I'm going to go with this.
So what do you normally do with guests like that? I mean,
she's the only one. That's why. Everybody else has been pretty much eager to play.
Okay.
You know, there's some people, you know, who I can't really say that many of the people, pretty much anybody we asked to be on the show, it's not their first interview.
Yeah.
When I interviewed the DC Madam, it was clear that she had not been accustomed to being interviewed, but she, you know, after a few minutes of letting her lawyer do all the talking, she pretty much stepped in and started answering her own questions.
This is how we
you
do
know?
it.
So you've gotten to interview people. I mean, you're listening to you. It's just
It's the spectrum.
you can just rattle off some pretty incredible names.
Well-
but I can't ask you who in the world you would love to interview that's still alive, because I know that is going to come to you and you're actually going to do that. But someone from the past, if you would have wanted to interview someone from the past, who would
John
you?
Lennon.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Why is that?
Well, I mean, it's just there's so much there, and we feel we know so much more about him since he's died.
True.
And we know how we knew his life was interesting. And I'm a baby boomer, and the Beatles are the icons of the baby boom generation. And of the Beatles, he was probably the most, you know, intellectually stimulating. And so I think that it would be, and you'd want to interview them dead. You know, so that they could bring that perspective of what happened to them into the interview.
Right, that's good. That is good. I don't think that will happen.
I know. Well,
Maybe not, but maybe when I get into somebody else's lifetime.
There's no lawyer talking. So.
Well, it's pretty exciting that we're here on the 40th anniversary.
it is. It's pretty amazing that Nathan's made it to age 40. Not many.
It's a pretty popular place. I'm not that
Sure.
surprised it
And
made
you
it
were
to
in
40.
the best location possible. I mean,
The commercial
else, yeah.
developers call it the best corner of the most important intersection of the most powerful city in the world.
I agree.
So
That's
there
awesome.
you go.
That's awesome.
You
Okay,
know?
here I have another question for
Yeah.
you. You play so many roles so well. Of course, proprietor of Nathan's, moderator of Q&A Cafe, and Washington Social Diary, which the column that you write for the New York Social Diary.
Social Diary.
What other things do you do?
I have my own blog
Oh, that's
on
right.
nathansgeorgetown.com, which I love. I always compare my column to New York Social Diary, like the main line, you know, like if you're Karl Lagerfeld and you design for Chanel.
Right.
And you've also got the Karl Lagerfeld line. Well, then there's the Carol Joynt blog on nathansgeorgetown.com, where I really
Let loose.
I let
She
loose.
lets
I let
loose.
loose. I have to sort of behave.
That one sounds more interesting to me. Actually.
Swimming in quicksand.
Swimming in
Yes,
quicksand.
I have seen swimming in
And
quicksand.
swimming in quicksand is exactly, that's it. That's what my life is like. I love writing. It's my as much as I love the Q&A Cafe, I think writing is my
And you're a
my
great writer.
preferred
Thank you. It's mine
form
too.
of expression, you know. But there's so much to be said for the internet, though. I love having a website.
Yeah.
I love just being able to write. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, what I'm wearing, what the time of day, and I just push that little put button, and the whole world can be exposed to my mania.
Cue that right up for us. We want to talk about some other internet things, and you just queued that right up for us. We have to make sure that everybody knows what happened with Pamela's Twitter. Tell us about Twitter.
I actually am signed up, and it's under, what is it called? My handle?
Yes.
It's Pamela's Punch.
Obviously you're on a learning curve.
She's just learning. She's just learning.
I'm an elementary school Twitter person, so it is Pamela's Punch.
So we'll all be looking for
can tweet-
Pamela's
tweet
Punch's
to me.
first Twitter, which hasn't actually happened yet.
No.
But and then
Twitteristic.
maybe we'll pull Carol into the
Oh my
Twitter
God.
stream.
I watch Patrick Gavin's Twittering, and it's like, I don't know, that's almost too much things. But let me just say this, that my slogan for the Nathan's 40th is, there are stories that you should never tell, except at Nathan's 40th anniversary, because what's going to make this different than your usual party, and I hope it works, it's either going to be great fun or deadly dull, but I think it'll be great fun. We're going to have an open mic for people to tell their Nathan's stories,
So
because
excited
really,
for that.
a bar is
so
about
awesome.
the things that happen there,
Right.
and this bar has had,
A lot happened.
and I want the
Over 40
X-rated.
years.
I don't want the PG.
Yes.
And I don't want the
don't have
isn't
to sign a
Carol great for
non-disclosure.
keeping it open. I want all the after hours and the drugs and sex and rock and roll.
Crazy.
That's what I want.
Well, I look forward to attending
Thank
that
you.
party and
I love
finding
this
out
woman.
all of that
Oh, yeah.
crazy stuff. And if you want to find out more about The Dish and you're not seeing it on www.thedistrictdish.com, you can be a friend of ours on Facebook. You can check that out on our interactive page and be our friends.